What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Talk Wrestling here on the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse Media, of course, the Jeff Meacham Network, Casa D-Teen Studios. I'm not muted. Okay, cool. The N. Foster 1960. Oh, geez, who's in the ring? Tiffany Stratton's in the ring. I'm watching NXT as it goes off the air here. There is a tug of war over the NXT Women's Championship as it's been vacated or relinquished, whatever you want to call it. Shit's going down. Anyway, I should be watching this. Hi, so we're on the Jeff Meacham Network. We're on the Casa. We're on the N. Foster 1916, the Tillman brand. We are on the J. Hebert Side 95, or J. Hebert Side 95? Yeah, J. Hebert 95, whatever. Sorry, James, I'm botching. And, of course, on the Twitter, so thank you all for tuning in. NXT is breaking down as it goes off the air on USA Network. Thank you to the early birds who came in, Matt, of course, and actually Matt was the only one that came in early. So thank you, Matt. Appreciate that. I do see there are people watching, but nobody's commenting. So there is a little problem with that. If you guys want me to acknowledge you like Aaron acknowledges you, you got to let me know you're there. Anyway, I'll turn that shit off. So, Talk Wrestling, again, 16 years almost. We've been on the air off and on. I'll grant you that. But here this week, I realize I'm a little glowy or trying to get the lighting down here in the new tower, as you saw debut over on the draft recaps. We have purchased new property out here in Stamford, Connecticut, so I'm taking over the office a little bit, trying to get the lighting down. JJ, good to see you again, sir, and appreciate the help with the tower modifications. I know it's been a arduous task, but I do have the office set up the way I want it. Let me see if I can do this without causing a ruckus, which I obviously can't do because I got my own Tyrannosaurus head in here. Eat your heart out, McMahon. Anyway, when I can, check out my personal Facebook. Okay, I will. Darren, hello. Again, Matthew Hostetter, hello. Good to see you. You've been popping in a lot more, Matt, and I appreciate that very much. So not a whole lot to really new shit to dive into, if you will, because it's only been, a few hours since I was on the air with you guys live earlier doing the draft stuff. And we want to thank, for those of you watching over in the Custodian Studios right now, which are a few of you, Psycho Jet Black, hello. We want to thank Emmanuel Dominguez, along with his sister, for being the first paid members of the Custodian Studios YouTube channel. We thank you both for your patronage over on the Casa. Daniel says, I'm here, but I'm in the kitchen baking some stuff for my youngest nephew's birthday. Always good to see that. It's said, we give Tony goodwill for AEW and All In, and he goes and makes a comment on Twitter. Well, it's funny you mentioned that, Matthew, because that's one of the things I have saved to talk about. So let's talk about Mr. Tony. Good grief. So one of these journalists, I guess he works for the boxing side of ESPN, Mike Coppinger. Forgive me, Mike, if I botched your name. Hearing Wembley is scaled for only 40,000. As of this morning, AEW had done allegedly done 35,000 in pre-sale for Wembley. So good for them, by the way. I did mention that during the draft coverage this morning across the multiverse. Far cry from last April when he was ringside for Fury and White, and it was packed to the brim with 94,000. Nothing beats the big fight feel at Wembley. Now, Tony Khan, pronouns, pal, decided to make one comment that made him look like a complete jackass, and another comment that made him look like a whiny non-promoter. So first he goes, lies, what a load of crap. Tell your agent Nick Khan to shove it up his ass. This is actually, I did not alter this except for, pasting the things. And this is at 12:45 my time. Then a few minutes later, I guess he realized the oopsie and said, since you carry the credentials of a credible reporter plus represent the worldwide leader, I'm just curious, who was your source for this? And how can a reporter representing ESPN tweet something about a legit news story that's so blatantly wrong and easily verified as a falsehood? Well, first of all, Tony, your biggest supporter is full of falsehoods and nonsense, Mr. Meltzer. But I read that back. Hearing Wembley is scaled for only 40. Okay. The way I read that, and again, I could be way off base. I've only been doing this for 20 years, so I don't know how to read things. Right? He's heard it. He did not say it was a verified news bit. He did not say it was confirmed through his sources. All he said was hearing that. And that sent Tony into his little mental tailspin. Dude, and I say we, pronouns again, the AEW fan base, AEW management really needs to get Tony Khan the similar tweeting proofreader that we were trying to get President number 45. Dude, don't be so quick to snap a judgment out there on social media, Tony Khan. You look like a complete asshole with that. And you blame Nick Khan. Like, who the hell? What did Nick Khan or WWE have anything to do with that tweet that Mike put out? What the hell? You look so bad in that. Like, infinitely petty and childish and ridiculous. I can't even process how bad that made you look. You know, there's a reason I have 340 days of WrestleMania and not however many days, which is only a couple weeks until Double or Nothing, because I'm looking forward to going to this. I'm going out of my way to avoid AEW at this point because the Fearless Leader is just silly. And yes, I will give AEW the flowers. 35,000 pre-sale in an 80,000 seat stadium is awesome. I'm so happy for the wrestlers. I'm so happy for the non-Tony Khan talent who can actually know to freaking toe the line and not spout off like a jackass. But it's just crazy how sad that comes off for him. It could be WrestleMania level. Conrad Thompson talked about that on his I think it's a show that hasn't been released yet, so sorry, Conrad. With Jeff Jarrett this week about, this could be their WrestleMania 3. It really could. It could be the show that puts them on the map worldwide, but we'll see. City by the Bay says, Jeff, explain how TNA is still a thing in 2023. How are they affording to pay its roster with 10 people in the audience? If I understand their situation right, first of all, they've sold out every major show they've produced this year. No other company's done that. Granted, they're running in smaller places, which is part of their cost helpfulness, their cost effectiveness. They're running smaller venues. They sold it, but they sold out every pay-per-view or paid show they've had this year. AEW hasn't done that. WWE hasn't done that. New Japan hasn't done that, as far as I know. They may be doing it in Long Beach, but I don't know. That's why, because they're cutting costs like across the board. And yes, Impact Wrestling. Sorry, Impact Wrestling is still a thing. TNA is not anymore. I just read the quote as it was. They're surviving. They're not thriving. They have great in-ring work. Their in-ring product is arguably second to none in terms of the talent they have. And they're doing little things right. They're not overspending on venues. They're not overspending on talent. They have who they have on the roster. They just brought in Trinity Fatu. She'll be on Impact this week to cut her first promo live on the mic. So that's how they're doing it, because they're finding ways to not spend money for the sake of spending money, which was a huge problem for WCW, which has been a huge problem for WWE off and on over the years, and for these little independent pop-ups that just, want to make that big splash and then, there's no more water in the pool. Right? Impact survives. Because they do. Dwayne, good to see you. Psycho says, at least AEW will make money on pay-per-view as opposed to WCW with the Georgia Dome Goldberg match. Yeah, exactly. And one thing I want to keep out there, Psycho Jet Black, is it's not been 100% confirmed that All In is going to be a pay-per-view. They have not outright said it'll be a pay-per-view or a premium or whatever you want to call it. It's just taking place on the day it's taking place. So keep that in mind. And yeah, I mean, I work for the parent company of ESPN, so I can't say a whole lot negative, but I will let that be where it be. And again, I'm not a fan of, any journalism that, just throws it out there, because it does bait knuckleheads like Tony Khan. So there you go. Caleb says, I believe Trinity will do great in Impact. I believe she should be a knockouts champion. I firmly agree with that. Impact is actually better than it's been in a long time. Trinity will be great. It is. Y'all are just way too judgmental on a product you don't even watch anymore, for the record. How do I feel about my coworker? I don't work with Stephen A. Smith. I just happen to be employed by the same parent company. Not a huge fan of Stephen A. Smith, for the record. Just, no. All Out has not been confirmed either by AEW. Let me go ahead and make that known now for people that aren't aware of that. It has not been confirmed All Out's taking place, even now. Daniel says, why is WWE still calling Roman the undisputed champion when he will no longer be an undisputed champion when the new World Heavyweight Champion will be introduced at Night of Champions? He's still the definitive holder of the WWE and Universal Championships. He's the undisputed holder of those titles. It's the best answer I can give right now because I honestly don't know the answer to the question. I'm sure they'll rename the championship once he loses it because, Hashtag no integrity by the shirt. That's right. Buy all the shirts. Dwayne with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Dwayne. Which NXT performer is going to benefit the most from the draft? My pick is Grayson Waller. 100% agreed on that. Although having the entirety of the way, and this is the way, right? Having Johnny and Candice and Indy and Dexter on the same roster. Yes, Austin Theory's on SmackDown, but they've been separated for a while now. Having the four of them on the same brand will definitely be beneficial to the four of them, I think, in the long term. But Grayson Waller is definitely my pick for that. I agree with you. The 90s guy said, hey, yo, and then he says, well, do you think the whole CM Punk Elite thing is a work? Nope, I don't. Because if it was a work, they would have already done it back by this point. And I think the more things go on, the more I think it was a work, and then we've all been worked into a work shoot into a work, brother. Okay, that was a lot of inside baseball phrases there. There's money on the table between Punk and the Elite, especially Kenny. They just need to grow up and do it. Worst case scenario is they'll have Roman Reigns versus Dwayne Johnson for the world title at 40, WrestleMania 40. There you go. I'd rather have Sikoa, Rhodes, or Breaker for the title. I would agree with that. Don't sleep on Pretty Deadly. Hashtag yes, boys. Absolutely. Pretty Deadly is a hell of an addition to the main roster. I think those guys are getting slept on, like you said, Jay, and we shouldn't be. They're a solid tag team. I think they'll do well on their new home. Both AEW and WWE aren't affected by writer's strike. That is correct. As far as I know, the writers. I don't think AEW has writers per se, like WWE has the guys they call writers. I think they are independent of the Writers Guild of America, which means they won't be affected by any strikes or anything in Hollywood or whatever the case may be. That's my understanding, Joey. I could be wrong. Joey had another question earlier I did not get to, and I meant to click it or start, and it is right here. Let's hope they'll do another belt swap for women's titles again. Yeah, we talked about that this morning. JJ and I did over on our draft recap. The fact that the SmackDown Women's Champion, Rhea Ripley, is on Raw, and the Raw Women's Champion, Bianca Belair, is now a SmackDown talent. So, yeah, I don't want them to do a swap because then they just devalue Bianca's reign, which has been approaching the longest of the modern era, and Rhea's victory over Charlotte will seem kind of like, nah. I may have spoken about this already if I came in late. Not this show, I haven't spoken about it, but I'll go ahead and bring it up again now. The 90s guy. Is it going to be a heel Rollins versus Cody for the World Heavyweight Championship? I have sided in with JJ and his theory on the championship situation. Cody's going to finish his story where his father's story began, and that's in the middle of Madison Square Garden with the title over his head as the new champion. Because Dusty, had not a phantom win because he did win the match in the Garden by disqualification and then held the belt up just to piss off superstar Billy Graham. But that was the picture we saw when Cody came back of, Dusty with the belt over his head. Has to end the Garden for me. And JJ's theory is 100%. Cody wins Money in the Bank, calls a shot on Raw, wins it on SmackDown in the Garden. That's what I think should happen. I think Pretty Deadly would be better if WWE brought back Tyler Breeze as their manager, I think. Well, JJ talking about having Dolph Ziggler do it, and now they're on. Well, Dolph's a free agent, so he still could. But Breezy would be a good addition. Psycho says one major issue is WWE is that there's too many mid-carders that never had that one great match or promo to get them over with the crowd. Bingo. Psycho hit the nail on the head, as he do. Do I think Mercedes will go to Impact with Trinity? Mercedes just lost that WWE Women's Championship. Pronouns, pal. Use their names. Sasha is no longer her name. Mercedes has been rumored for Impact Wrestling. Mercedes has been rumored for All Elite Wrestling, especially with Forbidden Door on the horizon. So there you go. When are they playing MSG? July 7th. The first Friday night SmackDown after Money in the Bank will be the host of, will be Emmett, Madison Square Garden. Also my mom's birthday. There you go. Daniel says, I sense that's going to be Rhea versus Bianca in a title unification on Champions. I don't have a problem with that. JJ brought that up earlier this morning. If they stick with the brand extension, being the brand extension, and they have, let's say, Bianca, as much as I love Rhea, Bianca become unified champion. That way Rhea stays with Judgment Day and Bianca does both shows. That way we have a unified women's champion. But again, we're not unifying titles because we've got a world title for Raw now. So it's still, this is where the draft still gets, like, if we're going to shake things up, actually shake them up. It's very bizarre. How do they crown the world champion? They're saying there looks like a tournament is the way they're going, but they haven't anything made official. Right? Psycho Jet Black says, do you think WWE never turned Corbin or Jinder Mahal faces that they don't believe they can be cheered by the crowd? I don't know. Corbin's pretty over the crowd at the Sam Roberts podcast, the week of WrestleMania. People love bum-ass Corbin. But he was also very self-depreciated at that show and, able to make fun of himself. Don't know if let him do that on WWE television. As far as Mahal, again, he is the most underappreciated WWE World Champion in recent memory. Not his fault. Just badly booked. But turning either one of them babyface, I cheer for Corbin. I like Baron Corbin. I've never been a fan of the Jinder Mahal character, so I probably wouldn't cheer for him. So that could be why. 90s guy says, an Aussie, I've watched many of the main roster girls and guys come up in our local scene of all the Aussie WWE minus Rhea, who's next to win a world title. I'm not sure who even is an Aussie in the company. I still say Toni Storm is long overdue for a major run with a championship, be it in AEW, be it in WWE, be it wherever she goes. Same with Buddy Murphy, who's in AEW. There's talent across the world that are under WWE contract or under contract with a major company that just aren't getting the look, and it's bullshit. It really is. Caleb said, first he said, I was going to get to your chat, but if you were impatient, so I'll take the $5 by all means. Thank you for that, by the way. Mercedes and Trinity would be awesome. Impact Knockouts Women Tag Team Champions. Absolutely. Absolutely. They should be champions. There you go. Grayson Waller. There is a great example of an Aussie that is right there on the cusp of main roster greatness. Now he's on the main roster. So give it to him. Corbin was also very over in Paris. Baron Corbin is one of those guys that if you give him the opportunity, he will find a way to get over. You just have to book him properly. I've been saying it for over a year and longer than that, really. Wrestling / sports entertainment is not hard to book. It's just hard to finance. Corbin's not that expensive a talent. He should be because he's damn good, but he's not. So give the guy a run. Shit. Bronson Reed also is an Aussie. I don't see Bronson as a future WWE world champion. People are going to be like, Jeff, you're freaking crazy. You're saying Grayson Waller could be and Bronson Reed couldn't? Yes, I am. I believe that Grayson Waller could be a WWE champion, a world champion within WWE. Bronson Reed will never get above Intercontinental or U.S. champion status. Do I think if I met Sting again, he'll remember you for that time you called for an interview? No. It was a one-off. It was early in my career. We've both had a few blows to the head since then, so I don't think so, honestly. And if he does and he gives me shit, then he does and he gives me shit, and it is what it is. $5 for thank you for the super chat. You didn't super chat that for me for a question, but thank you. Did I see Indy Hartwell vacant? Yes. For those of you that are not watching NXT, and I know JJ's watching it right now, so sorry, Jay. Yes, I did see NXT, and I did see the situation. So it is what it is. Zion Quinn, who was named in the draft on Raw Talk last night, used to play for my local footy team here in Brisbane. I really hope he's also able to break through. He's a free agent, and he's an Aussie. Yeah, I like Zion Quinn's look. I just haven't had a whole lot of look at his in-ring talent, but, he's a multi-sport athlete, so why not? Hi, John. How are you? Good to see you. Whew, that was a lot of information to get out there. Appreciate you guys letting me get that through. I'm already 20 minutes in. Yay. Again, if you missed the draft talk this morning, please go back and watch it on Across the Multiverse. We were, JJ and I covered the draft, the second night of the draft this morning. We also covered the SmackDown and SmackDown Lowdown side of things on Saturday. So check that out in the archives over at the Casa and the Multiverse of Media in general. Oh, so you're not watching. Either way, Jay, I spoiled that. So either way, I apologize for you. I'm not a legend. I appreciate the status. I get that from a few of you. I appreciate it. I do. I just feel silly because I don't feel like a legend. I feel like just Jeff, just me. But thanks. They're looking for that Kurt Angle type of athlete that looks credible. They are. They absolutely are. It's just a matter of if they get it or not. In addition to got more comments. We're good. Okay. No shilling just yet. Psycho Jet Black says, my thoughts on the rumor the WWE sees Von Wagner as future main event star. Well, with my recent revelation to his generational status, he is the son of Bo Beverly, which I did not know until this morning. I think that he has the potential. Again, it's about how he's booked. And if he's going to continue to be involved with Robert Stone, which I love Robbie, I do, but it's not going to go well for him long term. He's a free agent on the main roster now, so we will see what comes out of that, right? I don't know. I'd like to think that he has potential on the main event roster, or the main roster, excuse me. But that's just my opinion. So take it for what it's worth. Dwayne asks, what is next for, and JC didn't see the Bob Wagner, so there you go. We have difference of opinion there. Dwayne wants to know what's next for Roman, Bobby Lashley perhaps. I mean, they've done that. After losing the championship, I would say Lashley would be an interesting candidate. I need to take time off. City by the Bay wants to know my worst live wrestling experience. He said event, but then he corrected it to live experience or worst experience. It's a tie. One was very early on. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate the explanation. The worst live experiences, one was early on in my career of podcasting. One was within the last decade. So the early one was the only XPW show that I ever went to under the original XPW. And it turned out that I made a faux pas, if you will, regarding locker room conversational etiquette and almost got my ass whooped for making that mistake. And that was my bad. I don't shy away from it. I do shy away from talking about what happened as far as the details, but that was definitely the worst. The bright side of that weekend was that was the first time I met Shannon Sproul, Daphne, and it was a wonderful friendship that was cultivated out of that. I miss Staph to this day. I took my first bump that weekend, if you want to call it a bump. I took a super kick to the face at ring. Well, I was sitting ringside as a fan. Ended up ended up being carried to the back, if you will, by the XPW security staff. So that was a fun moment. The other worst moment, live experience wise, was SummerSlam 2014, and having to sit ringside, not ringside, but in a suite, and watch what Brock Lesnar did to John Cena. I've not been quiet about that. I've acquainted with John over the years. That was very hard for me to sit through. Thank you, JJ. Appreciate that. Yeah. Message received, in case y'all couldn't tell. Anyway, so yeah, the XPW thing early on, and Brock's destruction of John Cena. That was hard, very, very hard for me as a fan and a friend. So there was that. There's a question about the recent XPW stuff. Haven't seen it, thankfully. Not going to watch it, definitely. But not surprised. I'm really not, because the person that ran XPW under its troubled times is back in charge, and shit like that happens, right? It's gross, just ridiculous. Somebody could have lost their life in the one incident. The other one, it's like, really? We're literally going to turn somebody into a needle dick? Really? Psycho, I'd like to see that too. The thing is, I've made nice with Noah, and I don't expect that to be a universal thing, right? So if it happens, great. I'm not going to put it out there. I'm not going to try to manifest it, because it's just really not. I won't say it's not worth the energy, because anytime people I care about can make peace is awesome. Whatever. I realize they announced Tessa, but Tessa's coming to UWW's first event here in LA, Jay, and she's facing Ashley Dambois. So I'd rather go watch Tessa at UWW than ever go to XPW again. Just throwing that out there now. All right. Speaking of Mr. Williams, we're going to go ahead and take a brief little break here. It's about 3 minutes. Wait a minute. I hear myself say that. And I'm going to go grab some water, grab a potty break. And while if you're watching on the Casa, you already know about this, and we thank you for your page on the Casa. But for those of you watching across the other aspects of the multiverse, if you happen to join Emmanuel as a paid subscriber of the Casa D18 Studios, here's what you may see.
The following is a special announcement from J.J. Williams and the Casa D18 Studios YouTube channel. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the members only section of the Casa D18 Studios YouTube channel. Now, in the coming weeks, months, and years, this is where you will find all of my non-archived wrestling content. What I'm going to try to do is review wrestling DVDs, much in the same vein as you will see my movie reviews over on Renegades Reviews, as well as occasionally discuss the current wrestling product, much like the old school Renegade of Wrestling shows from the early 2010s. This is where you will find all of that content. I'm looking at doing it on Thursdays, as that's usually a dead day here on the channel, with the exception of the Throwback Thursday content that airs on the main Casa D18 Studios side of things. So for $4.99 a month, you guys will get access to all of that wrestling content that'll be coming to you in the coming weeks, months, and years. Those of you that subscribe early, like now, you'll get a few little hot take videos, maybe a surprise secret drop in there. But we're looking to have the content begin going live in July of 2023. First video debuting on July 1st, which is a Saturday, and then every Thursday thereafter, you'll get a brand new video here in the members only section of the Casa D18 Studios channel. Again, just $4.99 a month. It's a good way for you to show your love, your support. I hear a lot of you guys whispering and talking about how you would like for me to do more wrestling content. This is the way that you prove it. Show that love, show that support. Subscribe for only $4.99 a month, and you get access to videos nobody else will get access to. I thank you guys for watching this brief video explaining to you what's going to be coming up here in the members only section of the Casa D18 Studios channel over the next coming weeks. And I look forward to your support. Have a great day.
And one of the features you will catch in the members only section of the Casa Studios is the Wrestling Warzone, which, much like his Warzone every Sunday over on the Casa Studios channel, will be his newest acquisitions of wrestling-centric DVDs. And yes, the logos are there for the letters are the way they are. Of course, the WWE, the AWA, the Ring of Honor are the CZWZ, which I haven't seen in a minute. I love that. The NWOs, O, the NXTs, N, and the ECW, E. So there you go, guys. Check it all out over at the Casa right now. If you're like Emmanuel and Arlene, you've already subscribed or become a paid subscriber, we thank you on behalf of the Casa and the greater multiverse of media for that subscription. If not, get on your shit. All right. In that vein, I will go ahead and plug what's coming up this week on the Casa Studios YouTube channel. If you missed it yesterday, shame on you. Shame, shame, shame on you, I say. Shame thrown your way because you missed the start of JJ's month of reviewing movies starring the one and only, the Duke himself, John Wayne. Yesterday's was The Big Trail. Tomorrow's is Stagecoach. And Friday, just prior to our dad's episode for the week, Hondo, which is one of my John Wayne favorites of all time. Speaking of that episode of Dad's, immediately following the review of Hondo, our top 10 characters from a galaxy far, far away. This is the May, of course. Today is May 2nd. Yes, Aaron, it's May the 2nd be with you, and only with you, you dork. That's coming up Friday, May 5th. Revenge of the 5th, if you will. 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific. To be followed the next day with a graphic that isn't in there yet because I messed up. So give me 1 second. I will locate that graphic while I talk again about this show because JJ and I canvas. It is being uploaded and edited and all the things right now as we speak across both channels. And I will say it was more difficult than JJ imagined. I figured it'd be a difficult show. I really did. And JJ had more trouble than he thought as well. So there is that. Have I seen the John Wayne movie of Genghis Khan? I have not. I'll have to look into that, Psycho. Thank you. The day after May Revenge of the 5th, it is the Lords of the 6th. Like, I don't even know what the Star Wars thing is. But anyway, May 6th, 7 o'clock Eastern 4 Pacific, is Backlash with our coverage exclusively on the WWE Network, Multiverse of Media. All the commentary featuring Noah Foster and our renegade analyst, JJ Williams. I botched it. I know, whatever. That's right. Al Bundy's favorite. That's right. If you know, you know, kids. Open Mic Night, of course, will follow Backlash as it does every Saturday with our weekly dose of Open Mic Night. But this Saturday on Open Mic Night, there will be footage shot on May the 4th, short time before, in a galaxy not too far away. I'm going to the park on Thursday as a guest with people. Cute people. Anyway. So, also on the Casa Studios this week, Throwback Thursday, featuring the Throwback Thursday debut of Double Down with Double A, which we talked to Double A for the first time, at least in my time in years, because his nephew was picked up by the Buffalo Bills in the NFL draft this weekend. So congrats again to the Austin family. Alex Austin is now a member of the Buffalo Bills. So very proud of our extended Multiverse Media family. So congrats to them. Of course, our friends at NoDQ.com have your televised recaps all week long. Aaron recapped Raw yesterday. He'll recap Dynamite tomorrow. He'll recap SmackDown from Puerto Rico on Friday, as well as Backlash this Saturday. And of course, the No DQ review each and every Sunday that we know of. And you can find all of that and so much more across the multiverse. Yes, there it is. All the things. Talk Wrestling, Open Mic Night, The Dads, the Casa Content, Renegades Reviews, Stepway Sports Bar, The War Zone, Throwback Thursday, the No DQ TV recaps, pay-per-view recaps, pay-per-view predictions, and everything that FTW Productions has to offer, which is just so damn many. I can't say them all in the span of a plug. So thank you all who have joined the multiverse. Thank you all who are supporting the multiverse. We greatly appreciate everybody at home. I also want to give a quick shout out to two plugs that don't benefit me necessarily, but I love these people anyway. Our old friend Lizzie, and I say old like she's so much older than me. She's actually younger than me. I'm just being an asshole when I use my verbiage. Lizzie Valentine, who is my actually longest standing friend in wrestling, 20 years. It'll be 20 years next year. I take that back. She's currently running to be on the cover of Muscle and Fitness Hers. You can check out the link there at the bottom, mizhealthfitness.com/2023/Liz-Mikolos. Sorry if I botched your name, Lizzie. You can also link through my Facebook page and vote there for free each day. You can also contribute a warrior vote and help support disabled veterans. Also, my lifelong, and I do mean lifelong friend, Nikki Stevens, a fantabulous guitar instructor over at Fender Play, is now offering new lessons over Skype and Zoom. You can check her out at Instagram at Nikki. God damn it, I botched her promo. I'm sorry, Nikki. Nikki_Nacho_Stevens. Hit her up because space is limited. And on behalf of my son, who was a student of hers before our schedules got batshit crazy, she is one of the best there is out there. I think I hit all the plugs. If I didn't, I'm sorry. You can also go back and check out today's episode of Stepway Sports Bar, which is now on demand over at the Costain Studios channel. In addition to our episode of Star Wars Top 10 Characters on this Friday, 2 Fridays from then, May 19th, the dads will be back with our top 10 heels in wrestling of all time. There's so much stuff going on. Can't thank everybody enough for their continued support. So thank you guys very much. That's really it. Like I said, I didn't know what to talk about today. I just kind of let the questions direct the flow of the show today, which I used to do, which I probably should do more often. But thank you guys very, very much. It is greatly appreciated. And yeah, we'll be having Talk Wrestling from now on here in the brand new JMN Towers in City and State redacted for legal purposes. Thank you all for watching. Have a good night.